Hey everybody, what's up y'all? Welcome back to my channel, TammyTalks here. Alright y'all, so we are here to get into Married at First Sight Season 16. This is episode 2, getting to the crust. If you're brand new to my channel, go ahead, hit that subscribe button. Like the video, like the video, like the video, like the video, like the video. I should put like little hearts everywhere. Like the video. Liking the video helps us smaller YouTubers like myself get into the algorithm. All right, y'all. So like the video. If you enjoy everything that was in the video, or even just the smallest bit, if I made you laugh or smile, or if I just completely ticked you off, hit that subscribe button. And then we're gonna hop in the comment section after this so we can talk about everything that happened in tonight's episode. Got a new little situation here, new little setup. My notes are right here. So if I'm looking here, it's so that I can see my notes. Before somebody asks about my shirt, it is a Nike shirt, okay? I am from Milwaukee, where who plays here? The Greek Freak, which is Giannis Antetokounmpo. So, Bucks gear, all right? Last time I wore this shirt, somebody was like, Frank, your shirt. It's a Nike shirt, y'all, all right? So, let's go ahead and get into this episode, y'all. So, as I've been doing all season, we are going to do one video. I know I did the poll. It was very overwhelmingly towards the one video, which I was kind of shocked about because I thought y'all liked the 5 videos, but you know, things change. All right, y'all, so let's go ahead and get started. So let's start off with Nicole and Chris. So they're going to do goat yoga with her father. I didn't understand why. Why are we doing this with her dad? Why? Why is her father back? Why? I don't like Nicole's dad. I feel like he's disrespectful. I feel like he's doing too much. I feel like her dad just wants to be on TV. That's how I feel. So they're doing go yoga. I don't understand the purpose of it. I've done yoga before. I have done hot yoga. I've done aerial yoga. I don't see the purpose of goat yoga. If somebody does know the purpose of goat yoga, hop in the comment section, y'all. I just want to know what is the purpose. What is the purpose of it? What do we gain from it? Yada, yada, yada. So her father said that, because the Chris asked her dad, so like, what's something about Nicole that I should know? What do you know? What hasn't she told me? And Nicole told her dad, go ahead, be honest. So her father said that when he and her mother got divorced, Nicole was like kind of standoffish from him. And he said that he couldn't blame her. You know, she's going back and forth between 2 houses. That she when she would stay with him, he only had a 1-bedroom. So she was like sleeping on the couch. So he didn't understand. But he said that now she has come a long way. She's come around. They have a great relationship now. So her father said that she's very content now. Her contentment equates to happiness for her, which equates to happiness for him. So he's happy and content with everything that he sees between her and Chris. Tells Chris that you can now call me dad. And Chris was like, why? You said it was until after decision day. Her dad said, look, it was, I did say decision day, but it was also based on, when you earned my respect and when I earned your respect. You have earned my respect. I respect you. So he said he's still going to do the quotes around the husband part, but Chris has earned her father's respect, so he's good. He said that he feels that Chris is genuinely concerned about about Nicole, and that Nicole is genuinely concerned about Nicole. Let's not see Nicole's father anymore, okay? This is it. We're going to put him in the same boat that we're putting Felina, which means we're going to close it up. Close it. Close it tight. Hold it tight. I don't want to see Nicole's father anymore. I just don't. So next up, we have Kirsten and Shaq. So Dr. Pepper is coming to see everybody this episode because, why not? She ain't been doing nothing else all season. Earn your paycheck, Dr. Pepper. Come on. So Kirsten and Shaq are dressed like they get ready to go to like a sit-down dinner. Like they get ready to go to Sunday brunch. They look like they just left service Easter Sunday, and now they're heading to brunch to meet Dr. Pepper. So before Dr. Pepper gets there, they are saying that before Dr. Pepper even gets there, Kirsten is saying that she wished somebody was there to help them. She wished somebody was there to help them when they had their disagreement the other night. And we saw that scene where they were going back and forth about her now being ready and him not being ready, that whole debacle of a situation. So Shaq said that he has more questions for her still. And Kirsten said that she might have one or two today, but she might wake up and have 12 tomorrow. So it's just gonna depend. So Dr. Pepper gets there and she asks what do they need some guidance on? Everything, Dr. Pepper. Everything, sis. What do you mean? They need help with everything. Have you not been watching the footage? They need help. What? So Kirsten said that she feels that they need help on learning how to communicate through disagreements. So Dr. Pepper said that she don't live by the whole biblical code of do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Well, okay. Because I was like, Dr. Pepper, don't be sacrilegious. But Dr. Pepper said that she believes in a relationship that it should be do unto others as they would have done unto themselves. And I said, that's a word. I like that. I like that because she said that you will begin to feel more understood and more taken care of, because if I treat you the way that you would want to be treated, hopefully you would treat me the way that I would want to be treated. I mean, that's a hope. Fingers crossed on that, because there are people that live by that code and they still treat people any old kind of way. So she asks, was there anything in their childhood that might have affected her, that might give her the hesitancy that she has to be vulnerable? So Kirsten said that her parents divorced, and the going back and forth between two houses has made her more closed off. So I'll say this, and I've said this on this channel before. My parents are still married. My parents will be married 45 years in September. So I am one of the very fortunate people that in my adulthood, I don't have that type of childhood trauma. You know what I mean? Where I have friends whose parents are divorced, and it was difficult for them going back and forth between two houses. That's something that I can't relate to. I don't understand. I don't know what that's like. So if Kristen is saying that affected her, I'm going to take her word for it, because it's not something that I can relate to. I can only empathize with. So she said that at that time, she didn't understand why it happened. And by her having to live in two different houses, she began to have to be more responsible and manage her own feelings. So there were a lot of times where she just kind of swept things under the rug. So Dr. Pepper said, do you think that has an effect on your marriage? And I was like, yes. Yes. Say yes, Kristen. Don't even think about it. Say yes. I'm going to answer for you. Of course it has an effect on your marriage. You can't even tell your husband something he don't know about you. And y'all are strangers. So Dr. Pepper then asked Shaq about his background. He said, well, his mom worked a lot and he felt like her presence wasn't always there. He would see people that had a typical family and he wanted that. So he said he did not find his biological father until he was 17 years old. And he held a grudge against him initially. So he was upset with him. He was mad at him until one day later on, I guess, in his adult life, he was ready to move on. He forgave him. And I'm assuming him and his father have a amicable relationship now. So they are then asked about their chemistry and intimacy. And Shaq said, we getting better. I said, are y'all? I don't believe you. Based on what we've seen so far up until here, these first 11 episodes, half of 12, I don't believe you. But I'm going to take your word for it. So he said that we had this issue where she asked for a kiss, but I just wasn't my best self this week. I had mental health issues and I was stressed and busy and blah, blah, blah. So like I told him, Dr. Pepper said, you can't punish her for what she didn't want to do in the past, right? And I know some people are going to say, yes, you can. Not in this instance when y'all are trying to build a relationship. Y'all are trying to build a marriage. Y'all are really trying to build something. So he said that there was, he gives her a forehead kiss every morning. And there was one morning he did not give her the forehead kiss on the way to work because she was like nestled and like really buried into the pillow. So she texted him and was like, I need the kisses. I need the forehead kiss. Where's the forehead kiss? And Dr. Pepper told him, like, if she's asking for it now, then it's time to upgrade to some real kisses. She said, is that too much to ask for? Because, you know, the last time somebody said that to Kirsten, she all but melted in her chair. So the fact that Dr. Pepper is like, is that too much to ask for? And Kirsten is like, no, it's not. We need to go full steam ahead. Let's kick up the PDA to an adult version, okay? And by, you know, a married adult version. And Dr. Pepper just told Shaquille, just because you weren't your best self doesn't mean that you hold back on PDA, because that makes her feel rejected. You got to move past her not wanting to kiss you 2 weeks ago, because if she's in that space now where she's more comfortable, she's more vulnerable, go for it. Go for it. That's all you can do at this point. But the tit for tat, the back and forth, dead it, because that's childish. So he said, I know what to do to fix the problem. I said, do you? We'll find out, Shaq. So we get over to Clint. So Clint is on a FaceTime call with a friend of his, and he's telling his friend how they're growing, but they're still lacking in the area where he wants to get to the inner crust. And I really wish he would find a different way to phrase this. You want to know more about Kirsten, okay? You want to know more about Gina. We get it. You don't have to call it the crust. You want to know more about her. You want to have deeper conversations with her. He tells his friend that because they are both salespeople, that, you know, he starts off everything kind of with a story, and he thinks it's going to lead to another story from her, a deeper one, and they're going to start swapping stories, and it's not working. I'm the same way. I'm a very conversational person. If you want to get to know me or know different things about me, you have to have a conversation with me. I'm not a person that likes to be bombarded with questions, okay? Don't play 21 questions with me. If you want to know something about me, you want to get to know more about me, you have to be conversational with me, because I feel like that's how you really get to know a person. So his friend tells him, well, you know, it's going to take she just has to open up and get more comfortable. Do the work to make her feel more comfortable, and then maybe she'll open up and y'all can have, you know, these great conversations. But if you're not doing your part, you can't get mad at the fact that she's not opening up yet. I think Clint is like so far in that he really, really wants this to work, that he just kind of feels like everybody should be at the same speed that he's going, and Gina just isn't. Mainly because she has friend zoned you, and y'all are not going to be in a relationship. Okay? Let's just get some perspective into ourselves about this. She don't want to be with your Clint. Don't want to kick it with your, skate with your, nothing. She just wants to get through this process. So we switch over to Aerys and Jasmine, which this was a lot, okay? So we get a little scene with them before Dr. Pepper comes, and Aerys said that is this the right? Okay. Aerys said that women solve a lot of the problems in the world. I said, oh yeah? I had the same reaction as Jasmine. Do you really feel that way? Okay. He said, aside from Eve, because Eve ruined civilization. Remember, Eve ate that apple. Okay? Eve made Adam eat the apple. So Dr. Pepper gets there. And she said, well, you know what? We feel like y'all have not been progressing the way that we would want y'all to. That's your fault, Dr. Pepper. Dr. Peppers, that's your fault. We saw Aerys pleading and doing everything but screaming out for help from y'all. He said in his confessional, I want anybody to help me, please, whether it's Felina or Dr. Peppers or Pastor Cow or shit, the producer, Or you, can you help me? Like, that's what Aerys was doing. You should have been brought your ass on here, Dr. Pepper. Unacceptable for you. You're the reason they're not progressing the way that you feel that they should because you haven't been around. They don't have their 1 month anniversary and they are just now seeing you again. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. So Jasmine said that the attraction thing is something that she was worried about coming into this. You know it's a possibility, but it is her reality. She feels that they're very stagnant right now. So she feels that she has to try to get the emotional connection she needs, from him, and she hopes that that will in turn give him the emotional connection that he needs. So Dr. Pepper said, "All right, share something with him right now that he doesn't know about you." Jasmine said that she tells him how she mentors these young girls. She's a coach and all this other type of stuff. And she's always preaching to her girls to speak up for yourself and, don't let anybody tell you what you can or cannot do. The typical spiel that a coach, a mentor, an adult gives a young girl. She said, but she hasn't been doing that herself. She said when she was younger and they did a lot of moving from place to place. And when they moved to a place, she left all her friends behind. And she went to a place where she did not really fit in. And as a cause of that, she started to get the low self-esteem and the low self-worth. So when they ended up moving back to where she is now, she is just now in a place where she is starting to really love herself. And now she done turned around and got into a marriage that she so very much wanted, and her husband isn't attracted to her. This is going to sound really, 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 really effed up on my part, but that is a risk you take, Jasmine, when you choose to marry a stranger. You know what I mean? I just kind of feel like you're somebody who you don't have the self-esteem. You're just now starting to love yourself again. Why would you go and put your fragile self-esteem, your fragile state of self-esteem that you have, why would you go and put that into the hands of a stranger? Why? You know what I mean? Nonetheless, it's sad that she just now is starting to love herself. That's always sad to hear when somebody is an adult and they're saying, I just now love myself. But it's very hard for me to feel bad for you when you chose to marry a stranger. You have a very fragile sense of self-esteem and self-worth. You just now started to love yourself. And what is Jasmine? 33, 30 something like that? You're just now getting there and you choose to put your self-esteem and your self-worth into the hands of a stranger. It's no different than Xanup on Love is Blind last season. You don't have the self-esteem that you should, that you want to have, but you choose to take that very fragile sense and put it in the hands of a stranger, and then you want to feel bad because that person is not attracted to you when you should have met somebody the more natural way. And by natural way, I'm just saying actually seeing this person first. I'm not saying it has to be natural as in like meeting somebody organically at a bar or a grocery store. Just a natural way of I'm seeing you first. So she said that she feels like she's in a marriage by herself and she doesn't know if it's even worth telling him because, he just might not care. So Dr. Pepper said, have you ever thought that the issue was him and not you? And Aerys was sitting there with the look that's on the screen right now, kind of looking like this am. Yeah, the problem the problem is Aerys. But as somebody that has low self-esteem or is just rebuilding their self-esteem, they're not going to think that way. So Dr. Pepper said, Aerys is 39 years old. It might be something else that's getting in the way. So we then turned to Aerys. Aerys said that he has experienced some major deaths in his life. One being his father. He had a close friend from high school that committed suicide. And he had a close friend in college that was, I think, in a car accident that could have been flipped. 2 friends that have passed away. So he's scared to get close to people because he said they might leave, and he feels that that is something that is impacting him and has impacted him in his relationships. So let's get to the root of it, Aerys. Stop telling people, and that this could be a real issue. Stop telling people it's because, oh girl, that you kind of sort of maybe almost thought you could have been in love with hurt you back in the day 10 years ago. Stop using that bullshit story. This makes more sense. This makes more sense. So Dr. Pepper tells her to tell him something about her family life. Because Aerys is saying how he always wanted a typical family. He wanted to be able to come home to his dad cutting the grass, and his dad, the family doing stuff like that. Because Jasmine grew up differently with both parents. Her parents were still married. Some of y'all have said that she lives with her parents. Did we know that, or are y'all just assuming based on the house? I don't watch the matchmaking special, so if she is living with her family, I had no idea, but she has a very different experience. So she said that she grew up somewhat sheltered. Her parents never argued in front of her. So because of that, she does not have good conflict resolution skills. She doesn't know how to argue. She doesn't know how to communicate when there is the slightest bit of turbulence in anything. So Dr. Pepper is like, you guys got some work to do, and laughs at them. Dr. Pepper laughed at these people. What's going on this show? When the expert is like, you got this issue, you got this issue. Whoo, child, y'all got some stuff to deal with, right? What? Dr. Peppers. So we pan over to Shaq and Kirsten. So they are eating some dinner from takeout. Kirsten wants to know if Shaq can help her with the logo. Kirsten is a real estate agent. She said this has been a very good year for her. And she wants to know if Shaquille can sketch up something for her. And he was like, yeah, sure. So he sketches out, he's giving her ideas. You make the K the window and all this other type of stuff. And she asked him, you know how to make websites, right? Can you make me a website? Just invoice me. He was like, you really think I'm going to charge you? So then she was like, well, you'll get paid in different ways. What ways are that, Kirsten? Because you barely let that man hug you. What ways are you going to pay him? So he then tells her that he will build it tonight. So then Kirsten is in her confessional saying how she's not turned on and it's just something sexy about a man that can just do things for you, honey. I said, Kirsten, bye, girl. Bye. Nicole and Chris. So Nicole and Chris are meeting with Dr. Pepper, and since they are seemingly doing well, this is a very quick visit. Dr. Pepper said, whoo, because these first two couples, going through some things, but y'all, I can sit back and chill with y'all. So Dr. Pepper wants them to talk about trust and vulnerability. How are we going to build this up? Nicole realizes now that her past relationships affected her much more than she thought. So she always felt that being vulnerable was a sign of weakness, which a lot of people think. So it's not just you. She said that she's always called herself a robot, and she didn't cry in front of men, so they didn't think that she was weak. So she said she didn't always recognize when men were treating her with respect because she was so used to being disrespected in her previous relationships. So she said over the span of about 15 years, she was just in these horrendous relationships where now that she has somebody that respects her, it's hard for her, and it's hard for her to start to open up and be vulnerable. This is a challenge for her. Chris, on the flip, said that he's the opposite. He said that he's always been more vulnerable and open than a lot of women would care to acknowledge or care to want. And he said it was even a turnoff for some women. So he said that he is now thankful that he has a wife that wants all his attention. I said, yeah, because she's, a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. But all right. So we get Jasmine and Aerys. They are now doing the exercise where that Dr. Pepper has sent out, where they get the jar full of a bunch of questions. We've seen it every single season. So they're doing these questions, and the first one is, what will make you feel safe and secure? Jasmine says she can't think of anything. Girl, stop it. Stop it. You can think of something. Next question was, what is the question about your upbringing that I don't already know? She was like, we did that already. Airris was like, oh, I guess so. There was another question that she was like, I don't know. I don't have nothing to say. Then it was, what is the hardest thing that you've ever had to forgive? She was like, I don't know. You go first. Do you want to do the exercise or not? Because here's my thing. This is very much so like Shaquille and Kirsten. Now that Aerys is trying to at least participate and do the exercise, now you don't want to do it. I'm so sick of people playing games on this show. So then so then Aerys said that he had the friend that committed unaliving himself. I probably got flagged earlier for saying it, but a friend that took his own life, and he felt that it was very selfish to do, which a lot of people feel that it's a very selfish act. He said so it took him a while to forgive him because he saw the pain that it caused his parents. So he said that now as an adult, he realizes that nobody knows what he was going through. Nobody knows how hard his life was at that point. So he has finally come around to forgiving him. Jasmine then said, ain't nothing coming to me. So Aerys is in his confessional, and he said that he's going deep and she's not giving anything, and he's confused because she's the one that wanted to have the deeper conversations. So the last question is, what worries you most at this moment? And Jasmine said their marriage. Girl, I'm worried about you. Why aren't you participating? That's what's worrying me at the moment. So that's when we see Aerys just throw the damn paper down, because what's the point? Why am I going to keep trying to go forward with this and keep trying to do this when you clearly don't care? You're not trying anymore because of whatever reason. So we get down to Gina and Clint are now sitting down with Dr. Pepper. Gina said, well, we're focused on having fun. Dr. Pepper said, we're not gonna just have fun. We're here to have a marriage. Okay? We're here to see the drama of it all. We're not gonna sit here and just be fun like we're friends. Gina struggles with vulnerability with men because she was raised with a single mother. So she's more comfortable being vulnerable with women. She said that the honeymoon was so negative because y'all don't like each other. And she said that they are now just mainly focused on not getting too deep. So Clint said that he tries to be as vulnerable as possible, okay? He said that he wants to get to know her deeper, down to her inner crust, which please don't say it anymore. And Gina was like, you don't ask me anything deep. If he wants to get deep, ask me a specific question and then I'll give him an answer. And Clint was like, well, that's what you want. Do it with me. Set the precedent. And she's like, fine, I'll set the precedent. And he feels that that's not a very organic way to have a conversation and get to know somebody. He feels that he's going to be doing the Q&A with her if he does it in that manner. So Dr. Pepper said, look, if y'all each stick to your own way of communicating, you're not going to find love that way. I get what Clint is saying. I do. But I feel like, too, if you ask Gina a very specific question and she answers, you can respond back and then she can respond back, and now y'all are in an organic conversation that you can continue asking conversational style questions to get to know each other. I like Clint, I do, but I feel like Clint is a person that wants things to go at the pace, the rate, the style, the way that he wants it to. And when it doesn't, he like low key has an attitude about it. Or it's like, well, you should have just told me that then. Like Clint wants her to be very specific with him regarding certain things, but he doesn't want to do the same with her. They are going to be friends and nothing more. Literally nothing more. Nicole and Chris are working out while they do their questions. So they're in there on the bikes. And the first question is, what is a moment with the most amount of shame? So Nicole said that when she told her mom that her burn mark was really from her burning herself with a hair straightener and that she just picked at it and it turned into a circle. I don't know how I missed this, but apparently Nicole and the ex-boyfriend burned her with a cigarette because he told her, if you really love me, you will let me burn you with a cigarette. I have never heard no mess like that before in my life. I have like the fact that not only that one he said it, two that Nicole believed him, three that she allowed this man to burn you with a cigarette. You should be embarrassed. You should be embarrassed, Nicole. I'm sorry. I know that sounds rude, but damn it, you should be embarrassed. What? So she was embarrassed to kind of tell her mom. She said she knew that her mom knew that it wasn't from a hair straightener. No, because a flat iron, which I got right here. I got a flat iron right here, y'all. Look at this. Is this giving a circular burn? Is this going to look like a circle as opposed to a cigarette? No. Chris has said his biggest embarrassment was he threw a party at his house and his mom was baking brownies and the police came and threatened to throw her in jail because there was underage drinking. Surely there was a better story that you could have told. I don't think that fit the question. Maybe that's me, but I don't think Chris answered the question correctly. Whatever. So he was like, yeah, my mom got over it. And Nicole was like, yeah, because she didn't actually go to jail. I just, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. So then they talk about their biggest insecurity. Chris had just kind of stuff with relationships, past relationships, where he started to wonder if he was a lovable person, if he was worthy of love. He doesn't feel that way now with Nicole, but he definitely did in the past. And Nicole was like, you definitely are. Those girls just weren't worthy of your love. So look at it in reverse. Nicole said she's scared of him losing interest in her. She's scared that, she's worried that one day she's going to wake up and the happy little bubble that they have just won't be happy anymore. Nicole has to be a little realistic about this. Y'all are not always going to be in the best of moods. Y'all are not going to always be in your little happy bubble. There are going to be arguments and there are going to be disagreements that are to be had in a healthy relationship. If y'all are never arguing, you're never in disagreement over anything, one of the two people is not being their true authentic self. So I think Nicole is going to I can see Nicole self-sabotaging this relationship, to be honest, because I think that she's going to worry so much about about messing stuff up, that I think she's going to ruin it herself, basically. So we get to Aerys and Jasmine's mom. Was her mom wearing color contacts? I'm just asking. Okay. So Jasmine's mother comes over and Aerys is in his confessional. He wants to know how he can draw deeper responses out of her. He's hoping that her mom gives him a little bit of guidance. So we find out that Duchess chewed up one of his shoes. Aerys said that he was mad at first. He was definitely mad, but he was also shocked at how quickly he got over it. So he feels like the marriage is going okay. He said that they had an exercise where Jasmine told Dr. Pepper she wanted to have deeper conversations. He said, so they gave us a jar of questions, and he said he was being super deep. He said that it would be like, what's your favorite color? He would say blue because as a kid, I would love the color blue. So when I see the color blue now, it just makes me feel very calm and it takes me back to childhood because it's nostalgic. You ask her, and she was like pink. So her mother was like, yeah, yeah. I was like, damn, you don't know how to have deep conversations either, Mama Jasmine. But her mother was like, you might just need to pull it out of her. She said that Jasmine is a person that is so worried about making everybody else happy that she doesn't take the time to focus on her own happiness. She doesn't take the time to try to make sure that she's happy. So that's something that you got to kind of help her through. Then her mother awkwardly, and I feel like unnecessarily, brings up the fact that they are not going to consummate the marriage until after decision day. She was like, what if something happens today and then it's a missed opportunity? I said, well, explain that, Mama Jasmine. Explain that. That was none of your business. Jasmine told you you should have kept it in the tuck. But that is not a conversation for you to bring up. Then I think she kind of realized how she sounded. She said, I'm not saying that y'all should. That's essentially what you're saying. That is 100% what you're saying. Nonetheless, her mother, quickly redirects. And let's step away from that. Aerys said that he's searching for some common interests within them, which is why he was kind of excited to have the deeper conversation. Whatever. Here's the thing. So I watched a lot of recaps last week, and so many people were so offended and turned off that Aerys said that he mentioned her being a sneakerhead. Y'all, Aerys was not saying that he don't like the way she dressed or anything like that. What I took from that statement is, even if she was a sneakerhead, that would give us at least one thing to have in common that we can talk about, a mutual interest that we can build upon. I think a lot of people took that the wrong way. I don't think that he was saying at all that, oh, she don't dress good or whatever. I also heard some people saying that grown-ass women don't wear sneakers. That's far from true. That's far from true. I think that just got very misconstrued. I think Aerys was just listing things that, as an example, if she was a sneakerhead, we would have that in common. She's not that. I think he was just kind of listing different things. So her mother basically says, look, you need to wake up every day saying that I want to be married and with the intention to fight for your marriage. She said basically it's up to y'all on what you're going to do and what you are willing to sacrifice to get to that point. It's up to y'all. So we then move over to Gina and Clint. So they are doing their question jar. Gina says in her confessional that they are just on different pages in terms of how vulnerable they have gotten. She said that he's never sat down and had a conversation with her that would lead to a deeper conversation. I believe that. I wholeheartedly believe that. I think that they have different levels of what a deep conversation is. But for the most part, when we do see Clint and Gina having conversations, Clint is kind of joking around and they're not really being serious. I don't believe that they've had a super deep conversation. You asking her, where do you see yourself in 10 years? To me, is not trying to sit down and have a deeper conversation, because then y'all just started joking about it right away after. And I think that's a big thing too. They always end up merging from talking about something entertaining to joking about it. That's a very, very, very big issue with the two of them. So Faith, the first question is, do you avoid asking for help? Gina said 100%. She said that she has delegation phobia. That is her toxic trait. She said that she was forced into independence at a young age because her parents were divorced. And she said that now as an adult, she feels bad asking for help with something. She feels that she kind of has to do everything herself. Clint said him too, but he does know how to ask for help. So I think that was a perfect example for Clint to go a little deeper, but he didn't. I think you can't just say, yeah, me too. Next question. But the next one is, what is one thing to let go of from childhood? Gina said her feeling of rejection or abandonment and feeling like she's enough. Again, because her parents divorced, and her father not making an effort to be in her life, it made her feel away. So Clint said that he can relate. Not his parents were married, but he said the fact that his dad was never around because he worked so much. So he said that his family had to sacrifice a lot of family time to provide a life for them. They didn't talk about their biggest insecurity. Gina's is being a workaholic. So Gina, I'm assuming, grew up a little on the poor side, and for her, financial stability and financial gain is top tier for her. She doesn't want to go back to the struggle life that she had as a child or that she saw her mom living. So Clint said he's insecure about not being able to fulfill certain things. He said, let's think about it. I'm 40 years old. I want a family. He wants kids. He wants to be married. He wants to have all that stuff. And Gina told him 40 is not old. You are still young. You still have time to do that, which he does. Gina said in her confessional that she's a good salon mom and she's a good dog mom. So she thinks that she would be a really good mom, you know, a person mom in general. So she said it would just depend on her finding the right person to have a baby with. So it then becomes, what's one thing I want to tell you. I was waiting to tell you until we've been together longer, and Clint said that he has legally changed Hank's name. I said, when decision day come and y'all go y'all separate ways, make sure that he don't take your dog. So then we get Kirsten and Shaq. So Kirsten comes home and Shaq is setting up a body paint activity for the two of them. And Kirsten was like, cool, let me go change. She goes and puts on the bathing suit with a sarong. And he begins to like use his hands and like little paintbrushes to paint all over her body. She's like egging him on. She's into it. He's into it. It's a whole vibe, okay? So then we get this very cringe moment where he gets a can of like Ready Whip and sprays it in her mouth, puts a strawberry in his mouth, and like damn near smacks their lips together. There was no finesse in it. I'm surprised they didn't click heads. He lunged into her. It was very, very awkward. I was uncomfortable with it. I didn't like any part of it. But then you can see Kirsten start to relax more. So she's even dancing around him, doing little body rolls and whatnot. She then eventually sits on his lap and they share a more natural kiss. So she says in her confessional that she feels like consummating the marriage will help the intimacy and the chemistry between the two of them to grow. So she said that only her and Shaq will know if they do or not. But then we see in the preview for next week that Shaq announces it to the table. Okay, so kudos to them. Hopefully, I don't know, y'all. I want to have faith in Shaquille and Kirsten, but I don't know. Do I think that she really deep down likes him? I think she likes him enough. Do I think she likes him enough to stay with him? I don't. I don't. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, hop in the comment section, and I will catch you guys in the next one.